Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to what by my count is the 29th annual Mayor's State of Our City address and the 27th in a row here at Community Bank of Elmhurst. And on behalf of the staff and directors of Community Bank, welcome, good morning. I apologize for a little bit of a late start. So by my count, there have been 5 mayors give this address. Marcucci, DeCiani, Levin, Morley, and Levin again. Is that only 4? A couple of quick things I wanted to say. Our bank was founded in 1993, and the co-founders were George Hammersmith Sr., who passed away back in 2004, and Bill Gooch, who just passed away this past October, for those of you who didn't hear that. Bill was my boss for about 25 years and had retired here in Elmhurst and just passed away. And we miss both of those folks. And in their honor, we actually developed a Founder Spirit Award from the bank that honored the spirit that they had of love for their community and their family and the bank. And the inaugural Founder Spirit Award was given to Leo Reedy a couple of months ago. So for those of you who know Leo, please congratulate him. As always, I want to thank the folks in the room that are first responders, healthcare workers, and volunteers in our city, whether they're on city council or park district board or on the school board or a commissioner, or if you volunteer at a nonprofit, give yourselves a hand. I do want to make one announcement about a great event that's going to be next door at the American Legion on April 25th, and it's the Stories Behind the Songs. And if you haven't been to one of these events before, it's like none other. It's songwriters talking about songs you've heard on the radio, or you might even have streamed. Streaming, radio's old, right? Streaming now. But songs you've heard that have been hits, and they'll tell the stories of how they wrote those songs. And this year, there's a new artist. Well, he's not a new artist. He's an artist from the 90s, Brian White, who's a big deal in Nashville and had a duet with Shania Twain back in the mid-90s. So that'll be a great event. You can go on the American Legion's website to get tickets for that event. Again, April 25th. I do want to congratulate the person that I'm introducing next, Jennifer Varimas, on a great first year at the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I am only going to introduce her as the president, not the president and CEO. So it's my pleasure to introduce the president of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Jennifer Varimas.
Thank you, Rich, for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in our Chamber's annual State of Our City Mayoral Address. Thank you to the Community Bank of Elmhurst for graciously hosting us again this morning. I can't believe it's already been 1 year since I first stood in this role. My father used to say, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Leading an organization with a 100-plus-year legacy is not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. I want to thank so many of you in this room for your support, encouragement, and partnership during my first year. It has truly meant the world to me. Elmhurst is a leader in DuPage County, and your chamber should be too. Whether you attend every event or are focused on running your business day to day, the chamber is working for you, creating visibility, opening doors, strengthening relationships, and representing your voice. Over the past year, we've expanded educational and professional development through partnerships with the City of Elmhurst, Elmhurst University, and College of DuPage. By bringing relevant, practical programming to our members, covering everything from leadership and communication to cybersecurity and AI. We are helping our members sharpen their skills and adapt to a rapidly changing world. Advocacy is a critical part of what chambers should do. When businesses have direct access to policymakers, it leads to better, more informed decisions. Our chamber has strong relationships with both the Illinois Chamber and the U.S. Chamber. By participating in coalition advocacy and supporting their initiatives, we bring state and national influence to the local level. This is an area we are committed to growing so our members continue to have a stronger, more effective voice. We do this work on behalf of your businesses and organizations. And as someone who serves as a policymaker, I can tell you your challenges are not always understood unless you are in the room, and advocacy creates that understanding. While much of our work focuses on business, we also support the civic life in our community, from our beloved local traditions like my favorite, the Spring Road Pet Parade, to America 250 Elmhurst Celebrates. You can see our new logo is displayed here. It's a citywide partnership featuring a range of events and community activities in celebration of our nation's 250th anniversary. We look forward to spotlighting and participating in these celebrations. And as we look ahead as a chamber, we intentionally asked an important question: what do our members and community need from its chamber? Through focused strategy sessions with our board and stakeholders, our new strategic plan emerged. And to support this work, we are expanding our team to modernize how we operate so we can serve our members and community more efficiently and effectively. I want to thank our current team for their dedication during this period of growth, especially Kim Kurzak, our office manager, along with our interns, Isaac and Luke, whose support have been invaluable. And now please join me in welcoming our new team members: Marcus Furtek, our communications coordinator, Leslie Buckle, our events and member experience coordinator, and Dave Abrahamson, our branding and marketing consultant. Thank you. This team represents a new chapter for us, bringing the fresh perspectives and energy required to evolve our mission and reach beyond our traditional borders, positioning Elmhurst as a hub for commerce, leadership, and opportunity. And here is my call to action: engage with us when you can, use us intentionally, and invite others into this network, because a strong chamber benefits everyone. One of the ways we celebrate leadership and impact is through our annual awards gala. Our 107th awards gala will take place on Friday, March 13th at the Drake Oak Brook, which is also celebrating 10 years as an ECCI member. And now I am so pleased to announce this year's awards recipients. Business of the Year, John Nolan at Rate. There's John sitting. He's back there. Ambassador of the Year, Nikki Steinberg with Elmhurst Living Magazine. And Civic Hall of Fame honoree, Kathy Jordan. We hope you'll join us as we celebrate the people who make this community exceptional. Tickets and sponsorships are now available on our website and the QR code on your table. Thank you for believing in the chamber, for investing in Elmhurst, and for allowing me the privilege to serve as your president. A special thank you to Mayor Levin, the City of Elmhurst, our elected officials, Elmhurst University, School District 205, Elmhurst Park District, Elmhurst Hospital, and the Business Alliances for your ongoing partnership. Thank you to our members for your support and dedication, and to our board of directors and past chair, Angela Villegas, for your guidance and leadership. I'm especially pleased to introduce our new board chair for 2026, Kristen Walker, Vice President and Director of Community Engagement with Elmhurst Bank. Please welcome Kristen. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to take a couple minutes to introduce myself. I've had the privilege of living in Elmhurst for 30 years. I'm a transplant from the East Coast. My husband and I moved out here in '92, didn't know anyone, didn't have any family out here. We moved for his job, and Elmhurst immediately embraced us. We raised 3 kids. They went through District 205, graduated from York, and like many Elmhurst residents, we added on to our home instead of moving because we absolutely loved the neighborhood and adored our neighbors. I work at Wintrust Bank. We have 2 locations in Elmhurst, and I've always been, for the majority of my career, working with businesses in the community. So this is a great step for me. I've been on the board for a few years, and accepting this position allows me the opportunity to give back. And I'm honored to work with the board of directors that we have, our business leaders, and the community to strengthen Elmhurst and the community that we live in, where we work, live, and play.
I don't listen to instructions very well. I didn't adjust the microphone as I was told for Jennifer. Sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed our warm-up acts. But before I introduce our headliner, I do want to mention that John Adams of Elmhurst, the second mayor of Elmhurst, was our chairman's great-grandfather, F.W.M. Hammerschmidt, many, many years ago. So there's a lot of history in Elmhurst with the Hammersmith family. Now, on to our honored speaker who prefers to just go by 16 and 18. He's a former chairman of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He is a former alderman, my good friend, the Honorable Scott Lightning Levin.
Thanks for using our motorcycle gang names, Rich. Lightning it is. So good morning. This is a State of the City address, and the good things that happen in Elmhurst happen because of the city council. In a lot of towns, what the mayor says goes. Here, what the aldermen say goes, and they're the ones that do the hard work. So I've got Alderman Baker, Alderman Toludo is still here, I hope. Alderman Jensen, Alderman Schenko, they're all up here. They don't want to raise their hands. Alderman Virgil, Alderman Nardini, and Alderman Varamus, who wears a couple of hats. Thank you to the Community Bank of Elmhurst, Rich, George Hammerschmidt, for again hosting this event as an annual tradition. I wanted to, and Jennifer, congratulations. You've done a great job. I try to show up at every chamber event I can. I searched online for a chamber president joke. I guess they're not that funny. There just really aren't any. I was up till about 2 in the morning. But lawyers, us lawyers, there's always jokes about lawyers and stories, and so I was reminded of one where a man has reached the age where he's passing to the great beyond, and he summons his 3 best friends, his lawyer, his doctor, and his priest, and he said, you know, you can't take it with you, but I want to try. He gave them each an envelope with $500,000 and said, my trusted friends, when you come to the funeral service and pay your respects, please put this envelope, tuck it in the coffin. And they all gave their solemn promise. It was a beautiful ceremony. They met for lunch afterwards. And the priest said, I feel terrible. He goes, you know, our rectory needs a lot of rework. So instead of putting in the full $500,000, I only put in 3. And the doctor says, I know how you feel. We need a new wing at the hospital. So I took out a couple $100,000 for the hospital, and the lawyer, as ethical as you are, they said, I can't believe you did this. You made a solemn promise. I put in a check for the full amount. Which leads us into our headliner topic today. I hope you all had coffee, because I want to talk today, before we get into all the great things the city has done, about property taxes. And the reason is, as I'll talk about a little bit further, is that it's been a topic this year. We actually raised property taxes by not very much. It's not very well understood, and it's something that whether you're a business or a resident, you should understand. And I know people say taxes are always going up, but we really haven't raised them in 15 years. And you say, well, how could that be? My tax bill isn't what it was 15 years ago. So that's what I want to explain. And I've been provided with this device here, which, do we have any slides available today? Well, it starts out, we've got America's 250, which we'll talk about a little later. We have a couple other anniversaries that we're going to talk about today. And that's us, the city of Elmhurst. All right. So the first slide, what it's showing you is that we have a number of funds here in the city of Elmhurst that we work with. The most important one that we're going to be talking about today is the general fund, and that's where your property taxes go, the sales tax we collect, license and permit fees that we charge all go in there. We have other funds. One of them is the utility fund. People always talk about what happened, why did we increase our water fees. The water and wastewater treatment plant, the sewage, is all handled by an enterprise fund. We charge exactly what it costs to do it. So when the DuPage Water Commission raises their rates, we pass it directly on. There's no profit there. Another fund, for instance, is the TIF fund, the Tax Increment Financing Fund. So when we generate TIF funds, it goes into that special fund, has nothing to do with operations. So we're talking about our general fund where our property taxes go. A lot of times people will say they don't know what their tax bill is all about. So what this shows, it should say where your property tax dollars go. I will say that the city of Elmhurst has a budget for 2026 of $270 million. So that'll tie in a little later to show the scope of what we're doing with the city. And our property taxes produce about $31 million of that total, and our sales tax is about $40 million. So when you look at where your tax dollar goes, if you look at the tax bill you get from the county, you'll see that the city's portion of the tax bill is only about 7%. So when the schools and the parks, particularly the schools, are the majority of the tax bill, because that's the only place really where they can get revenue. They don't have sales tax, they don't have hotel motel tax, they don't have license and permits fees, and it's same for the park district. And they're tax capped at how much they can raise it every year by either the cost of living or 5%, whichever is greater or less, one of the two. See, they don't know this. Okay, I just wanted to see if the school district knew. They do know, okay. That's important as a basic understanding. So the common understanding is that when the tax bill goes up, that the city has raised the taxes. In 2025, the owner of a $500,000, what we call the average home in Elmhurst, paid about $690 to the city of Elmhurst. This chart, and I don't know if you'll be able to read it, but it talks about what our tax rate is, what rate you pay based on the value of your home. And as you will see, very down at the bottom in that grayed area, is that the city of Elmhurst has the third lowest tax rate right there of any municipality, of the 34 municipalities in DuPage County. Oak Brook ranks lower because they have a mall. So the sales tax means, I don't even think they have a property tax, but I'm going to show them how, if they want. If you look at the top villages like Addison are paying a rate of 1.608, and we're paying 0.41, so it's like 4 times larger. So it's important to know where we fit into this tax scheme. I can't explain Hinsdale, but maybe by next year I'll come up with a story for that. So what do property taxes pay for? Our property tax goes into 2 general areas. 59% of our property tax goes to pay our public safety pensions. That's police and fire. And the other 41% is used for general operations of the city, whether it's police and fire, streets and sanitation. So we'll be talking about why the property tax portion that goes to public safety is important. The history of the tax increases that we have had are, I think Mayor DeCiani's here. I was sworn in December. I'm sorry, former Mayor DeCiani. I was sworn in as a alderman in December of 2010. It was right at the end of a recession, the Great Recession. And Pete said, you know, I'll swear you in the second half of the meeting because the first half they were voting for a property tax increase. And he didn't want to subject me to that. So I can say, until this year, I've never been on a council that has raised property taxes. But when I say we've never raised property taxes, there's one asterisk, one important fact that you have to understand. Each year, the Department of Revenue does a, I forgot the word, actuarial study, and they tell us what we need to contribute to fund our police and fire pensions. And we, by law, are mandated to levy that amount of money. Now, we've generally increased it by a little bit more because we want to be ahead of the game. A lot of municipalities don't fund their pension programs, and it'll cost them more later. But otherwise, we've not raised taxes since 2010 to pay for any of our operations. Well, I feel like there's supposed to be some more slides here. Can we go back to the slides? All right. So, I usually don't work with slides, so forgive me here. It's this new technology. So this shows some interesting things. If you'll notice, at the top is the green. That's the part of the property tax that went to pay for bonds. And after the Great Recession, we had to use some property tax to pay our debt obligations. But since 2016, we pay for all of those obligations out of other sources. You'll see the orange and the blue, and there's not the Bears, it's not the Fighting Illini. It's the general levy, which is what we use for operation, is the orange, and the blue is the pensions. So you'll notice that the pensions are the cost that has driven up what you pay in property taxes. That's the asterisk. The pensions have gone up by 272% since 2010, while what we've attributed to an increase from us has only gone up by 37%. What does that pay for? There is and I want to give Kelly Stetler from Compass Realty a little shout out because she did some research for me to help me understand better our residential market. So the average home sales price in Elmhurst in 2020, 5 years ago, was $410,000. Today, it's gone up 47%, and the average sales price is $761,000. So it's a pretty remarkable increase. So if the taxes on a $500,000 home went up by $4,000 in that time period, the home increased by $235,000. The point is, what are we paying for in Elmhurst? What are we getting in Elmhurst? In 2026, our property tax levy was $15.6 million, which represented a $1.9 million increase. That comes out to $56 a house. And I know a lot of the members of the public say to me, oh, it's 56 here, it's 58 there. But the reason I talk about what you're getting for it is because that's why people want to move to Elmhurst. So why did we have to raise taxes? Our pension obligations increased by $800,000. Unanticipated health care costs, which anyone that has a business, and many people here do, they went up by $1 million. How did the city council address it? We combed through our budget and we cut $3.6 million in operation expenses because every time we do the budget, the city council is a careful steward of your tax dollar. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. So we can go back off the slides. I think that's the end of that one. The city council, and under the careful stewardship of Alderman Toludo, who left, our finance chair. I think I should have her come in and do my household budget. I'd save a lot of money, because she and our finance committee in particular look very carefully at everything we're doing. And we're told that we're going to be doing another deep dive to see what other costs might be eliminated. And we kind of did that when I was incoming mayor in 2021. We looked at how the budget was set up, what we could cut, and we did make some cuts. And we're going to do it. And but my personal opinion is, and we'll see how it comes out when I'm standing before you next year, is that we run a very lean operation. I'm a member of DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, and I talk to other mayors, and I look at the size staffs they have compared to ours. We get a lot of work done from not that many people. So my prediction is we aren't going to be making a lot of cuts, but it's important to look to make sure that we're doing the right thing. As I've thought back since 2013, when I came back on to came on as, let's see, was that Morley? Let's see, I was acting mayor until then. So from then until now, we've added about 3 positions I can think of. We've added a communications department, 2 full-time staff equivalent, I believe, which we needed after the Great Morley Flood of 2013. We wanted to put the message out, and it was with City Manager Grabowski, and there was no communications facility. He and I were writing the message to go out. Now we have a very capable communications staff, and Michael Queros, is Michael here? He's our new communications manager. Michael, welcome. He replaced Cassandra Schrepp, who was our communications director from probably the last 10 years and did a great job, and Michael will too. So in my opinion, I look at what Elmhurst is and why I don't think there's going to be a lot of cuts. And again, I don't get a vote unless it's a tie, God forbid, but the city council will look at this. Where are we going to cut? Are we going to cut things like a turkey trot or a St. Patrick's Day parade or the Public Arts Commission, or all of these things that make Elmhurst Elmhurst, that make Elmhurst great, that make Elmhurst a place that people want to move to, that makes your property value go up? So we can cut, I could cut the budget, I guarantee you, by 20%, but you wouldn't like what you saw. So when I compare what we have with other towns, and I think when I talked to Kelly Stetler, our home values have gone up so significantly, and it's not just us, but it's towns who have things like us. And we are going to be doing, and this is sort of off to the side, we're doing an affordable housing study, which is going to be presented from the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus staff in about 2 weeks or so. And the idea is it's not low-income housing, it's not Section 8 housing, it's affordable housing for if your children grew up here and want to move back, can they afford a house here? It's if you want to downsize from your house, is there a place you can downsize? It's workforce housing. Can our police officers, our teachers, our firefighters afford to live in town? I'm very interested to see it, because that's part of the puzzle we have to solve, is can you do that when house values have skyrocketed so much? So the property tax increase was necessary. I trust our city council. Everyone's afraid to do it. It's like a political scare in case you want to run for higher office, like something county board, Chamber of Commerce president, I don't know. But I assure you, we're doing what we need to do. So you each get 1 hour of college credit for Property Tax 101. But let's talk about some other things. So let's talk about the police department. We're getting a new police station, not a new police department. We've initiated the design and engineering phase already. I'm glad to say that after all the political controversy, everyone was very strongly in support of having a new police station. I won't review that. We did that last year. The construction will be beginning in January of 27, and I hope to be standing before you in the summer of 28 and announcing that we have a new police station. FGM is the architect that we've hired. A lot of the complaints were, why was there such a poor design in the old police station? Marcucci, were you there then? No. No, all right. longest serving mayor, Tom Marcucci, 16 years. Welcome. FGM has done 100 police stations and about 300 law enforcement facilities. They know what they're doing. I want to tell you that on Monday next, January 26th, between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., we will be having a police station visioning session, and we will allow the public or members, anyone, to come in and see what the exterior of the station might look like so that we as a community have a police facility that we can be proud of. In 2025, the Elmhurst Police handled almost 43,000 calls for service. That's about 117 calls a day. We continue to be a Tier 1 rated police department, and this is the 7th year in a row, which is a lofty distinction. Crime in Elmhurst, we saw marginal increases in aggravated battery and burglary and weapons offenses, some decreases in hate crimes, thefts, and stolen vehicles, and it's the thefts, particularly motor vehicle we hear a lot about. Remarkably, for the first time in 13 years, we didn't have any armed robberies at all. Which I know the bankers like to hear. Tragically, we did have our first homicide in a long time in December. Our detectives were able to solve that murder within 48 hours, and I do it like the crime shows, the perpetrator is a standing trial, first-degree murder. Our fire department handled 7,200 calls. That's 300 more than that's in 2025. That's 300 more than they did in 2024. We also received and put into service a new grant-funded fire engine that we only could do through a $850,000 grant that we obtained through the state of Illinois through our own Senator, Susie Glowiak-Hilton, who's here. And I will tell you, these are discretionary dollars, and this is something that I personally appreciate very much because we needed to get that funding. I don't think we really had that in our budget. We've secured additional funding through Senator Glowiak of $950,000 between Senator Glowiak and our own Senator Representative Marty Deuter, a almost 12-year member of our city council, to rebuild the fire department training tower. That was built in the early 70s. It takes a lot of wear and tear, and this, instead of being a brick and mortar, will be built with like shipping containers. So it'll be a fraction of the cost, virtually maintenance free, and we hope to have that going online this year. The fire department has retained its Class 1 ISO, that's Insurance Services Organization rating, which places us in the top 2% of fire departments in Elmhurst, where only 29 total departments have earned that distinction. Of the 38,000 or so nationwide ISO communities, there are only about 500 in the entire nation that have received that distinction. Our library, we have a new library board chair, Cindy Wellwood-Burke. Is Cindy here this morning? Being well tended by the director, Mary Beth Harper. This year, they've completed improvements to the south patio, including new seating and play structures, a fire pit, a story walk, lighting, and fresh paintings. And this spring and summer, we'll look for a lot more in the way of outdoor programming. And I want to tell everyone I'm giving some abbreviated. I know the library's done a lot more. There's some guy named Elmo or something, some new character. What's the name of it? Maisie, who's there. I knew it was some guy. Where in the world is Maisie? Anyway, we have a five-star library, and I just feel like I shouldn't say it every year, but I just did. Okay. Public Works, been hard at work. We replaced $4,600,000 worth of water mains in one construction season, which is a huge accomplishment. It's about 8,000 lineal feet of water mains. This is probably the largest replacement program that the city has undertaken. We continue to rebuild our water reclamation facility. There are a lot of mandates from the federal and state government to remove phosphorus from water, so there's some big changes that are occurring there. Sort of on the public works side, we managed to get fully 100% funding, 100% funding for a new bridge for bikes and pedestrians that will go over 83, Route 83, at the north end of town. We were looking, and that's about a $3,800,000 project. And every day, I thank Public Works. It'll be very cold tomorrow. In fact, Rich and I were talking about how this is usually a bitter cold day. We were a day off, but this is the time when you see the miraculous snow removal, where the water mains are breaking and our Public Works crews are out there taking care of it. Elmhurst History Museum. I don't know if Dave Oberg made it today, yeah, he was probably here at 5, if you know Dave. I was there as we cut the ribbon on a new performance space that was fully funded by an Illinois Department of Natural Resources grant and private fundraising through our Historical Museum Foundation. Dave's the one that went out and hunted down those dollars to make it happen. We were the recipient this year, we the museum, of an award of superior achievement from the Illinois Association of Museums for our recent exhibit, Chicago, Lost Chicagoland Department Stores, which was a great exhibit. And this is the highest award that the association provides, one institution per category. There are more than 1,000 museums and cultural centers, so that's a big achievement. And this is the second time in 4 years that we've received that distinction. And we've got the America 250 Elmhurst. I appointed a task force committee, whatever, to help us honor and celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country. And Dave Oberg is already stepping up. There was a wonderful presentation about the history of Elmhurst. He covered in 25-year increments the entire history of Elmhurst. Learned a lot. I thought it was interesting when he talked about restoring the trees to where it used to be. And then if you looked at the history, there were no trees here. If you want to restore it to history, go back to a prairie, and how at a certain point in time, residents of Elmhurst took up a huge fund to plant the elm trees. They were planted everywhere. How'd that work out? So a lot of good things happening at the museum. Some other significant things. ECPA, Elmhurst Center for the Performing Arts. I always say it's the big dream that might actually come true. It's a lot of controversy on social media. People don't want a big building downtown. I've talked to the owners of the buildings. I don't think it's talking out of school. They're not in great shape, and I'm just saying that something's going to be there that's new, whether it's the ECPA or just another building. But owners have property rights, and I see that those buildings aren't going to be there. They're in very bad shape. In terms of other development, we've built 67 new homes in Elmhurst this year, which I'm told is the highest rate of any town in DuPage County. We have the Silverado restaurant. People always ask me, yes, it's torn down, there's a new building. You know what's going in there? I don't know. Only Tony Gambino knows, and I don't think he knows either. But we'll see. Our Public Arts Commission, which is a fairly new commission, I'm very proud of, because art adds a lot to our community. It really, the cultural significance of these art exhibits is not only good to attract outside people, but something that we enjoy ourselves. And this year we opened the Adelaide, the Keeper of the Garden, which is a mural on our Adelaide parking deck. Melina Scotti, who is our local artist, was selected to do that. The commission purchased a Bernard Williams sculpture that's located near the Elmhurst Art Museum, so they're always looking for new projects. Elmhurst Park District, several capital improvements as a result of a referendum that was passed. Construction is beginning on the new Wagner Community Center, which will provide recreational opportunities for people of all ages and serve as a community gathering space, something that a town like Elmhurst should have as a Class 1A, whatever you want to call it, facility. We're adding a new community band shell in Wilder Park. Didn't I tell you I wanted the stage to face west? Well, next year. Sorry. There's a joke for Kevin Graff and Rich Grotsky. Anyway, I'm glad that there's been a lot of discussion about that, because look over there, not over here. And also opening, to warm Jennifer Vramus's heart, Canine Corner, Elmhurst's first dog park, opened in June, and I'm told it has a membership of 886 dogs. So I don't know how you apply, but it's there. District 205 now has the highest number of exemplary schools since the state introduced that designation, placing our schools among the top 10% in the state and reflecting the excellence of our educational system. So congratulations to the schools. Now, Elmhurst University, is anyone here from the university? We couldn't get the president out here for this. All right. Tell him this is what I said. And I'll tell you why he's not here. So they opened a new 45,000 square foot health science building October. It's the first new building that they've had on campus in 20 years. I was at the ribbon cutting. It's magnificent. There's a 360-degree immersive virtual reality lab, the first of its kind in the Midwest, where students practice procedures in real-world settings, such as an operating room or the back of an ambulance, and it's got high-fidelity patient simulators. It's kind of creepy. You walk in and you think they're dead, and they are dead, but they breathe, they sweat, they have seizures and respond to medical interventions, and it's just really an incredible facility. U.S. News and World Report, their latest best colleges rankings place Elmhurst University as number 7 among the best universities in the Midwest, which is a group of about 150 four-year colleges, and a remarkable accomplishment. And lastly, they brought home second place in the town versus gown annual baseball game between the city and the university. Congratulate. Oh, we got first place. Okay. So we've got the Cottage Hill Cup trophy in my office if you ever want to stop by and see it. Elmhurst Hospital, really big news. This is their 100th anniversary. And it's one of the gems of Elmhurst, like the university. I had breakfast with Susan Tyberski, who's the foundation director, last week. We were talking about the hospital and its continuing needs. And there's sort of a feeling like this isn't our hospital because it's become part of the Edwards family and now part of North Shore / Endeavor. And she reminded me that Blanche Hill, Deep Elmhurst, said, told her, this is our hospital. We paid for it. We raised the funds for the old one, the new one. And it is our hospital. It's still Elmhurst Hospital. And we were talking about the need for financial giving generally, and I'm not saying just give to the hospital, but it's something to think about. Winston Churchill, or was either he or I once said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And Elmhurst is a giving community. We can't forget the hospital and the great things it's doing. It really adds a lot of prestige to our community. I do want to mention that it's not just giving, but the people here in this room are largely involved in our community, and sometimes I go to the service organizations like the Kiwanis Club, the Lions, the Rotary, even the Boy Scouts. People are so busy driving their kids around to sports that they don't have time to stay involved in our community. And I hope the generation that's moving in town that has the young kids will do that, because that's what makes our community the community it is, why Elmhurst is so great. And there's opportunities to get involved. We have 16 boards and commissions with the city, but we have all kinds of organization. I think, Elmhurst Children's Assistance Foundation, the food pantries, just people giving a whole lot. Our elected officials, city council, park district, school board, they take a lot of heat sometimes. I commend all of the members of our elected bodies because they're doing it for the right reasons. Sometimes I see on social media how we're lining our pockets. I didn't get my share. And I think it goes back, did you get your share? No, Tom? No. And Morley's not here, so he must be the one that got it. But anyway, I thank you guys all for that. That's all I have today. So as I always like to conclude, if it's true, and it is this year, what's the state of our city? It's excellent, excellent. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mayor Levin. And I had always attributed that Churchill quote to Elmo. Apparently I had that wrong. One more round of applause for Mayor Levin. I was just looking at my calendar, and 6 weeks from Saturday is the Elmhurst St. Patrick's Day Parade on Spring Road, and I always say that's the unofficial start of spring. So spring is right around the corner. Tell yourself that tomorrow morning when you wake up and it's minus 11. And speaking of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, the world's largest drum will be adorned with the Elmhurst 250 logo, celebrating 250 years of our country. And as it relates to that drum, I want to thank a couple of gentlemen who are here today who have stored that drum for many, many years. And these two guys used to be my friends, and now they just retired. That's Dan Roche and Paul Cook, and congratulations on a great career, guys. And I want to thank all the employees here at Community Bank who made this possible. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I don't do any of it. I just show up and make bad speeches. So thank you to all of our employees, and thank you to all of you who make this town all that it can be. Have a great day.